Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest of the night. He's been waiting calmly and carefully. We are now talking to Special Olympics baseball coach and author of Just Need an Opportunity, Tony Vlahovic. Tony, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing, Errol? Hey, you pronounced it beautifully. Thank you. That's great. Great.
I'm very bad with names, and obviously Ukrainian names, a lot of hockey names over the years. I've had problems with them. And pronouncing it, Speedy puts up the pronunciation on the board, and it's very, very hard because he puts it on the way he would sound it out, not the way I would sound it. And by the way, we had a specific segment called Sound It Out over the last couple of months. We don't do it much anymore, but they would put like all these sports, different names from football, baseball, hockey, tennis, and they pop them up, and I would have to try to sound it out, and I'm not very good at it. I was most of the time batting 300, but usually I would go under 300. I'm not very good at it. But anyways,
that's Hall of Fame numbers.
I'm not a Hall of Famer, not yet at least. I mean, Jobber's more of a Hall of Famer than I am as of right now. But nevertheless,
definitely.
I want to get into some of the great things you're doing right now. And obviously, I want to first talk about your book, Just Need an Opportunity. How did this come about? Why, obviously, did you decide to write a book?
It started, I all through my entire life, I've been surrounded with people who have had disabilities. Growing up in the northern part of Pennsylvania, some of the kids I grew up with were, in special ed, things like that. And there were kids in the neighborhood who wouldn't pick them, would pick on them. And I was their protector. And I don't know where that came from, but they were good people. And I didn't want anybody to bother them. I picked them. I played with them. And throughout my life, I realized that I've been around people with disabilities and kind of put it all together back in 2012 when I met with Special Olympics New Jersey. The CEO at that time was a gentleman named 𝐼𝐸𝐸, called me in and said, hey, I think people with disabilities can play the game of baseball. What do you think? And he said to me, look, you've been wearing a baseball hat all your life. They have also, but they've never had the opportunity to play. So that really started this whole process of I needed to write about my relationship with the athletes and about my life. And I really wanted to use the book as a platform to increase awareness for people who have disabilities. There are 62 million people in the United States with disabilities. That's amazing. I mean, you're talking about maybe at least a quarter, possibly a third of the population. And these athletes love the game. They know more about the game than my high school athletes that I coach. And I wanted to give something back to them and bring that to awareness to a larger audience, which when it came out, it was a #1 new release. And then I also did an audio book, which was great because a lot of my athletes had some difficulty with comprehension, but listening to it was easier for them than reading. So that evolution of basically looking at my life and saying, I've been around people like this, and I think it's time to share that information and put them in a limelight. And they are some of the most incredible people I've ever met in my life.
So any specific experiences that you recall that you've explained to your kids? Obviously, you had a scary accident when you were playing baseball growing up. And then, obviously, what are some of the biggest influences on them that you've mentioned in your book from your previous, in your past life?
Definitely the accident, and also surviving cancer when I was 14. So, to go back and look at my life and the different difficulties and obstacles I've basically worked through helped me to be able to coach athletes with disabilities, share with them, have some sense of what it's like to be a little bit different than some other people. And I think all those things put together definitely has helped to create an environment that they trust me, and we grow from there. And it's not only about the game of baseball; it's about the kind of people they are, and basically exposing those people to people in the outside world who may have never had contact with a person. But, the more you talk to people, there probably is somebody in their life or their extended family, friends who has some type of disability.
Tony, I was excited to have you on the show. So obviously, first and foremost, appreciate your time. But hits near and dear to my heart. My father was paralyzed on his left side. He got the epidemic of polio in '52 and was never able to walk and was stricken to a wheelchair in August of '91 permanently. And he started League of Human Dignity, which was basically me growing up. And everybody always thought it was different. And I love how you bring it up. They're not different. They do things different way, just like everybody else does. And have they started the Miracle League, what it's called here. And for anybody, just to see smiles on their faces and to be able to be a part of that. I wish so many people would get an opportunity to see how special not only they are as who they are, but to look past whether it's CP, whether it's cystic fibrosis, whatever the case may be, and to see, how strong and how these kids and adults they persevere. And I was so honored and blessed to be my dad's son for all the things that he did for people and allowed them to have an opportunity. I mean, from the time I can remember, I'm loading scooters and, getting to try out all this equipment. Assistive technology was another program my dad started for, kids and learning how to type and do this other stuff that, couldn't talk and then was able to live that normal life. So I was super excited to be able to have you on and to hear your perspective of the things you did. And I think you bring up a great point that people don't really understand. Like sometimes they only see the physical limitations of what they are, but there's so many things that go deeper than that. So hats off to you. It's been something I've known and done my whole life. And I wish more people would be involved and understand, how important this is, because we're all on the same playing field. It doesn't matter if you got, 6 toes, if you can't walk, but you know what, to have that opportunity and see smiles on faces, it makes it all worth it.
Definitely, Job. It comes from the heart. You have, with your dad. I mean, I see these athletes and work with them. And like you said, they may talk a little bit different, look a little bit different, walk a little bit different, but the love that they have and wanting to be a part of something when they're a part of a team, it's one of the most incredible things you've ever seen. I mean, they just, and from being in locker rooms or clubhouses, they want to be treated just like anybody else. When I started to coach them, I was probably too much in terms of coaching them like a baby and, being a little bit softer. And one of them said to me, "Coach, come on, we're athletes."
They don't like it.
No. I pissed them off. They let me know about it pretty quickly. And I appreciated that. And now I bust their chops and they give it right back to me. But I love them. They just give so much. And all it is we gave them an opportunity to play a game that they love. And we just got back from Cary, North Carolina and USA Baseball. I started a program with my co-founder, 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞, 5 years ago called Base Able. And the reason we did that is I'm involved with Special Olympics, but Special Olympics really didn't pick up the baseball as much as I wanted them to. So we started something on our own and started a nonprofit, and all the money goes to the athletes for travel, for uniforms, for equipment, anything that they need. And Cary and USA Baseball is incredible. We spent a weekend down there, worked out with the college national team, played an exhibition game in the stadium. For our athletes, that's like being in the MLB. They had an absolute great time. And it's amazing when we were sitting in the airport in Durham, ready to fly back to Newark, they all sent out some type of thank you, either email, text, or letter to USA Baseball. Didn't have to say a word. They were so appreciative of the time and effort that was put into that weekend. Just amazing. Incredible people.
We are talking to Special Olympics baseball coach and author of Just Need an Opportunity, Tony Vlahovic. Tony, first of all, I've worked with a lot of different kids over the years, autistic. Actually, we have one right in the studio right now, one of the best in the business broadcasting, and that's Speedy. Speedy right here, he's he has Asperger's, and he's a guy that is one of the best in the business when it comes to autism. It's, to me, he's a normal person. He's like anybody else. I don't judge him. Me and him have gone back and forth over the years, and Speedy would tell you, I've always considered him an equal to me. I don't look at him any differently, and I've always respected his talent and his growth in this industry. And I've been around a lot of kids over the years that have had problems, mental issues, obviously autistic issues. I've never looked at differently. We're all the same. We're all built with the same hands, the same brains, the same everything. Obviously, other people are born a little bit differently, but I never look at them any differently than anybody else. Now, I know you've worked in the Special Olympics. What kind of experience was that, working with all these different young guys and kids that are obviously have all the different issues that they have, and what was the push to, what was the drive to become a coach for the Special Olympics?
It was really that first meeting and the idea of believing that these athletes have never been given the opportunity. What we did was we started with some open workouts. And to be quite honest with you, there was 90 people in the gym. It was total mayhem. It was craziness. And it was just this wild event. I took some of my high school players with me, and they're looking at me like, Coach, what the hell is going on? But what we did was we started to develop their skills and their growth and develop those relationships. And that really spurred me on. From that point, we set up a league in 2013 with 4 teams, and then picked a team. The Special Olympics have an event called the USA Games, which next year it'll be in Minneapolis. And back in 2014, baseball was an exhibition sport. First time in the 45-year history of Special Olympics, baseball was offered. And Jabba, you'll appreciate this. We actually played at Trenton Thunder Stadium, where the Yankees used to have their AA ball club.
Still do.
Yeah. They actually moved. They moved out of Trenton, unfortunately. But there were 4 teams: Alabama, Delaware, Rhode Island, and New Jersey. And I coached Team New Jersey. We actually played Rhode Island for the gold medal in front of 3,000 people.
Wow.
And it was an incredible night. We ended up winning the gold medal 6-2. There was not a dry eye in the house. I mean, it was wild. The fans loved it. The players were both teams, were celebrating. It was just an incredible night. And when you have athletes say to you, Coach, this is one of the best nights of my life. Whoever thought, they would start with this large group, and now you're wearing a gold medal around your neck, and you're representing something that pioneers really across the country. So that was one of the most incredible days in my life, also, to see these guys take a step back and just take it all in and watch them celebrate, and then get a police escort back to the College of New Jersey where we were staying. We were rock stars for the night. It was great, but the amount of people and the amount of support for that event was just incredible.
So I wanted to ask her from a different age group standpoint, because we interviewed a football player a couple of years ago, 𝐸 Briggs, who won a Super Bowl with the Packers, and he was doing a lot of Special Olympics type things with youth sports, and we've also seen it now in college and in high schools too. What do you think has been the impact throughout other different age groups that you've seen, not just in baseball but in other sports?
I think the age group is, to give you an idea on that Special Olympic USA team. I had 19 athletes on the roster. My youngest was 16. My oldest was 54.
Wow.
And I think what you see is that age group has expanded. It's also expanded to men and women, which is great. So you're creating opportunities that were never there before. I think we're still trying to build, and we talked about this with USA Baseball today, on the grade school and the middle school level, and introducing the game at that level, and basically creating a minor league program across the country to show that these athletes then they can play the game, introduce it to them, have them develop, just like through the Miracle League that Jabba mentioned, because the Miracle League actually ages out at like 16. And they do an incredible job. They really do. So we'd like to help those athletes after they age out to be able to continue to play. But that age span has definitely increased over the years in all sports. I know the NFL does a lot. The NBA, the professional soccer does a draft every year. Just incredible. I know that the NHL, after we played Rhode Island, the Bruins honored them up in Boston. I think it's a win-win for every professional and college program out there to give back. I know that Clemson has an extended program for individuals with disabilities and a graduation. I have some athletes down in South Carolina that attend Coastal Carolina. The athletes down there work with them. We have a program that we'll do down at the Myrtle Beach Stadium in February called Swing for Inclusion. That will have 5 states involved. We did a clinic down there. There was over 100 athletes, invited athletes from the Miracle League. And what we try to do is get our current athletes that are playing for us to teach part of that clinic, which is really cool. So our athletes love that because now they're giving back and they're giving back to the game and to the sport that they love.
Tony, we were kind of talking about expanding our brand in certain avenues, and this is something we've kind of talked about. Have you ever thought about, like, as you get these athletes and as you expand, age divisions, brackets, men, women, however, have you ever thought about, as it correlates with sports, like being able to join with a company or a foundation or something where not only does it put them in a great place athletically and to be that athlete, but also house them and give them an opportunity to be self-sufficient and, being like my dad would do a lot of times, place a lot of these athletes that he would work with to have a job, to feel part of it, to be a bag grocer, like to team up with something where, because sometimes they feel like, and I've come into encounter with this, where when the season's over, it's like it's the end of the world, sometimes to them, because that's what they have. But then to still feel a part of something as a team, to, like, I guess, join and be able to use what they've learned, being an athlete and growing in that way, but also in life to be self-sufficient in the things that they've learned on the field to take them to be able to live and grow, not only as an athlete, but as a person.
Absolutely. There a lot of our athletes actually work at places like UPS, Amazon. So they're part of something, but yes, they a lot of them they're incorporating job coaches to help them out, which is excellent. So we've talked about that, trying to get more companies involved, because again, I really believe it's a win-win. When I had a business in Princeton, New Jersey, I always had a few people with disabilities who worked for me. Probably some of the best employees I had. They were never late. They appreciated everything that you did, and they were just a lot of fun. One of my employees who had Down syndrome asked every woman in the place to marry him, so we had to calm that down a little bit. But it was he was great. Had a great personality. Just the way that they, as you mentioned, being part of a team, you want to expand that. You want to take that to their life and use the skills that they learned playing ball in their life skills and their relationships. And I've seen that improve on a lot of different levels for them, starting at, being part of a team, learning how to give, learning how to interact with people, learning how to communicate a little bit better, learning to listen a little bit more, and then taking that out in the world and having their own relationship, and also with work. And once you see people respond like that, that you're on to something. In my opinion, that's only going to grow. And if you can continue to present that and put that out there for people saying, hey, you can do this. And that confidence builds, and then they take the others, just like that positive peer pressure. We can do this. And then they start to take their friends and say, hey, I have a friend who could work here. Can you interview him? So working on all those skills. But, I've seen that evolution from back in 2012 and just continued with the growth of these people in general, on and off the field. It like you said, there's a ton of smiles, and you get it's from the heart, and they give it back to you in spades. You have a bad day and they come up, and I don't think I've ever been hugged that much in my life in a weekend like when we go to Cary. Just very thankful. The smiles on their faces, it just changed your world, changed my life in so many ways, in so many positive ways.
I think it's amazing. I think everything that you've done is absolutely amazing. Again, my nephew has Asperger's, and I'm trying to teach him camaraderie. I made him join Long Island Elite, and he's playing with all these top football players right now in Long Island. He's never played football. He's just built big. He's like a truck. And I told him,
right,
you're going to learn camaraderie. And once you learn how to be a team and you work together as an offensive lineman, everything works together. And he's starting to really understand it. And he was very, very quiet. He didn't really like to be interactive with people. He would sit in front of his TV all day long. And I was like, you got to get out and about. You got to hang out. You got to get to know people and be more communicative. And ever since he started doing that, it's been a couple of weeks, I think he's opened up so many opportunities and ways where he can communicate and become friendly with other people. And I think it's great. And I'm so happy to watch him grow as a young man, 13 years old, and he's still so much left in life to understand a little bit more about how to work as a team. So I think it's a great story. I love everything about you, Tony. And, when Nathan told me that we were going to get you on the show, I think it's just all the things that you're doing. It's remarkable. It's great. And to me, we're starting, and like 𝐃𝐨𝐽 was saying, we're working on a nonprofit organization where we're figuring out names and how we're going to put it together. We would love to bring you in with us to help us build our nonprofit organization, because you're so highly connected in so many different ways with so many different communities, and I think it would absolutely help us.
I would help you in a heartbeat. I would be honored. That would be great. I would do anything I could to help you guys get started. As I can, just from talking with you today, I can see where you guys are coming from, and again, it's coming from the heart. You guys have a great show. You have an audience, and that helps out also to get that message out there. But yeah, anything you need, I would definitely be a part of that.
We would love for you to be one of the guys. What you're doing right now is remarkable. I think when we're, 𝐃𝐨𝐽 was talking about working with autism and working with many different organizations, I think what you do in the Special Olympics and all the connections that you have, I think it would be just so great for you to come and communicate with some of the families and all the different people that are going to be at these events. And I would love for you to be one of the spokesmen of our nonprofit organization.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
That would be great. In fact, I just talking about another population, the younger population. I just finished writing a book for kids, mm-hmm. and it's working with the illustrator now. And basically, what we're talking about is the acceptance of kids who are a little bit different. And when I was writing it, I didn't come out and say that they had some type of disability. It's just different. They were different. And, they went and they got a letter from Special Olympics. They won the gold medal. And I'm hoping that for like 4 to 8 year old kids that it's taken in by schools and accepted, with it's a much shorter book, but it's a version of what I wrote in my first book. And I wanted to reach out to a different population. And I think that's really important, starting with the younger people and progressing through.
Well, I will say this. We all have disabilities. Just because
Yeah,
we every one of us. If you watch this show, you would know
absolutely.
if you watch this show, you would know I have a disability. I'm absolutely nuts. So anybody that's seen this show knows
Join
I'm
the
out
club.
of my damn goal. But I do appreciate you. I definitely will reach out to Nathan. We definitely would love to get connected with you. And as we're working on marketing and a name of our nonprofit organization, once we get it set up, we would love to get you involved with it. We really appreciate the time. I love what you're doing. Congratulations on all the great things you're doing. Keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you soon.
Definitely. Hey, thank you for the opportunity to come on your show. I really appreciate it. You guys are great. Thank you very much.
The one and only Tony Vlahovic. I'm good with the names, baby. It rolls off the tongue. Vlahovic.
Beautiful.
Vlahovic. Speedy, one time. Vlahovic. Little enthusiasm.
Vlahovic.
That was a smile, little dot. Vlahovic.
Speedy, do you play baseball? I'm going to try to recruit you to play.
I was one of the worst Little League baseball players ever.
No. Look, we can work on that. I've heard that before. We have our ways.
Tony, one of the best play-by-play guys you will ever meet. I'm telling you right now, he will blow anybody out of the water. This guy can go to a stadium, football, baseball, hockey, anything. Get a list of guys, get information about those guys, and bring it to life. I do the color all the time. He does the play-by-play. People think we're professional guys that they hired. It's unbelievable. He is sensational. He's going to be one of the best. I do believe that in the future. But Tony,
well, what we could do is put together an exhibition game and have you guys do that and stream it.
We would love it. And Jabba will be in the background telling them, Ohtani wasn't doing that. Ohtani wasn't doing that. Ohtani wasn't doing that.
Jabba will be working on he'll get the Jabba rules jerseys ready.
That's right.
He's getting it set up.
I saw that. Mm-hmm. I saw that film of that great catch you made against the Cleveland Indians at the time with diving. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, athlete, baby.
That's right. Hey, pitchers. I was a pitcher too.
Better believe it.
I'm going to show that. I'm going to show that clip to my guys. They will go crazy with that.
Believe it.
Joba is not an athlete.
Anyways, we love you, Tony. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Hey, great. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a great one.